we think of
Mm,
peaches as being such an incredible food, but we don't always think about the medicinal properties of the
mhm.
tree. Peach leaf is the classic herb for like the hot red tongue pattern. Do you mind if I show my tongue on your
Oh,
podcast? I don't know.
please.
Okay.
It's gonna be exciting. Welcome to the Herbs with Rosalee podcast, a show exploring how herbs heal as medicine, as food, and through our connection with the living world around us. In today's episode, I'm joined by Betsy Miller, a clinical herbalist and nutritionist, and we're talking about an herb that doesn't get nearly enough attention. That's peach leaf. Betsy shares how she works with peach leaf for things like nausea, anxiety, and digestive discomfort, especially in cases where heat, irritation, or sensitivity are part of the picture. It's really a beautiful example of how understanding plant energetics can open up options that are often overlooked. If you enjoy this episode, please give it a thumbs up so more plant lovers can find us, and be sure to stay tuned until the very end for your herbal tidbit. Betsy, I'm so thrilled to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
Yeah, so we go way back. I don't even know how far back, but we go way back.
I think we first met at a Kiva Fest
We
like at
must have.
least 13 to 14 years ago.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Um, Give or take. Yeah, I think that's probably where we first crossed paths and met and started building a friendship.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah. And I got to see you just recently in Michigan, which was lovely. And I've been wanting you on
Yes.
the show for so long, so it's really nice to have you here. And
Thank
yeah,
you.
despite knowing you for over a decade, there's lots of pieces of your herbal story that I don't know. So I'm excited to dive in there and hear from you.
Yay. Wonderful. Well, I'm so excited to be here. I mean, in addition to just loving you as a person, I've followed your work for, the last decade or more. And I love your blog and your podcast. And I'm
Thanks.
honored that you wanted to include me. So thank
Well,
you.
of course, yeah, yeah. Well, I'd love to just dive in of like how did the plants call to you, Betsy? Like what
Sure.
happened to bring you upon this path?
It's a funny story, actually. So when I was little, I went to a summer camp in the Catoctin Mountains in Maryland. And it was, I think I started when I was 11 or 12 years old at the summer camp. And it was a sleepaway camp. And each week that we were there, you could be there for 2 weeks or 4 weeks. We would go on a 3-day trip, either backpacking or canoeing. So backpacking in the Appalachian Mountains or canoeing on the Potomac or the Shenandoah. And on one of these canoeing trips, and I should preface this with, I grew up in Tacoma Park, Maryland, very, urban environment, not a lot of nature exposure outside of spending time on the Chesapeake Bay. Neither one of my parents knew a thing about medicinal plants. So at the summer camp, one of the weeks that we were canoeing, I stepped out of the canoe onto the muddy bank, and I was wearing my life jacket and my bathing suit, no shorts, no pants, and I slipped and I fell bare-legged and bare-cheeked into a patch of stinging nettle.
Oh,
And that was my, I hate nature, like get me out of here, get me back to
mm,
suburbia. I don't ever want to do this again moment. And my camp counselor, she was an herbalist, and she took me up onto the bank, and she had me, lay down on my belly on my sleeping mat, and she made a poultice for me of plantain and burdock leaves and put it all over
so
my
cool.
legs. Yeah, and immediately the sting started to subside, and that was my like, oh my God, what is this witchcraft? I have to learn. So that put me on the path of the plants, and also Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. I grew up on that show, and I always have to,
Very
I always have to drop that in there. But that experience of like viscerally feeling what a plant could do in the moment
hmm
really set me on this path of the plants. So I started self-studying, and in high school, I wanted to go right out of high school to, an herb school or Naropa or, somewhere I could study plants. My parents, said, for the love of God, go get a real education, and, then you can do whatever you want with your life. So I went up to Vermont and studied environmental studies there with a focus on forest gardening. So how to grow the medicinal plants in a forest environment. And I got to do an apprenticeship with an herbalist up there. And then came back to Maryland and went to when it was called the Thai Sophia Institute to study clinical herbalism. And then now I'm, in clinical practice and teach, and that's how the plants called me to the work.
Oh, I love that. And you recently went back to school too, right?
I am
For
in school at the
in school.
moment.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm in school. I'm getting my doctorate in clinical nutrition because I'm also a nutritionist, in addition to the herbs, the partnership between plants and food. And, a lot of your work has found its way into the way I practice and I teach around nutrition and thinking about, how can we get more phytochemical diversity and plants in our diet through food, because that's where we can get these heavy hitting therapeutic doses, not just through teas and tinctures, but eating the plants. So I love that aspect of your work, really speaks to me in particular. But yeah, I'm back in school getting my doctorate in clinical nutrition, and I'm in the home stretch. I've got 1 year left out of a
Oh, wow.
what's been a 4 year program because I'm doing it at a much slower pace so I don't lose my mind as I work and raise small children and do all the things.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, I've really loved your
Yeah,
sharing on that, on the nutrition herbal side as well. So that's been a fun
thank
thing to
you.
see emerge from you. Yeah. And yeah, really smart sharing on that. So
Thank
yeah,
you.
well, thank you for sharing that. Getting the the very like very real introduction to nettles, and having that be like a
Yes.
turning point, like that has to be one of the best herbal stories I've ever heard. So yeah,
Thank
that's a
you.
good
Yeah,
one.
Paul Strauss, one of my teachers, he's out in Ohio at Equinox Botanicals, and he does a lot with United Plant Savers. He calls nettles awareness medicine.
Mm,
They teach us to be aware of our environment. So that was my first like visceral experience with awareness medicine. So I have a big patch of nettles in my backyard that I actually transplanted from his
mm,
property, and I've been teaching my children about awareness medicine because the nettles are growing right around my elderberry tree. So whenever we go harvest elderberries or elderflowers, I have to remind them, the nettles are here and we
mm,
have to be careful because they'll let us know if we're getting too much in their space.
mm. Yeah, Jim, he talks about poison ivy in the same way as awareness medicine. I would way rather
Yeah.
have nettle around as
Oh
a
yeah.
awareness
No,
medicine than poison
that
ivy.
because nettle awareness like is in the moment and then it at least goes away. I feel like
Mhm.
poison ivy awareness just like it does not leave you alone for quite a
Yeah.
bit. So
Yeah,
I
yeah, it's a little
agree.
bit more intense. It's a higher, higher impact there
Yep.
for sure. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Oh, I just wanted to say too, like how cool that there was an herbalist there that just like slathered you in green, plantain and burdock. Like
Right.
that's so cool. And just think like that. I feel like that's just very, I don't know, it's an inspiring story to think about how many times we might turn to the plants to help somebody and then how that like ripples outward and who knows, what that's going to
Yeah.
inspire in
The green
them.
spark, right? It just
Yeah, that gave us
spreads.
Betsy. So that's awesome. Yeah. Well, you chose peach leaf for your
Yes.
plant, and I'm so excited to dive into that. What spoke to you about peach that you wanted to choose that as your plant?
I feel like it's a lesser known plant medicine. We think of
Mm,
peaches as being such an incredible food, but we don't always think about the medicinal properties of the
mhm,
tree. And
mhm,
it's one that I work with closely in my practice because I work a lot with prenatal clients, and peach is one of my favorite medicines for prenatal nausea. So we hear a lot about, ginger for helping with nausea during pregnancy, but peach leaf is my go-to for that. So it's just such, and there's so many applications for it outside of just nausea. But I love talking about the plants that aren't quite as shiny in the herb world and
mm,
don't get their moment in the sun as often. And I mean, Rosaceae, I can't not talk about the Rosaceae plants. It's like if I could only use one plant family, I'd probably pick the Rosaceae.
mhm. Here, here.
But yeah, right. I know I'm preaching to the choir on that one. Um, but and I feel like Rose has been talked a lot about,
Mhm.
in not just your podcast, but in general. And Peach just doesn't get as much attention. So I like giving
Yeah.
attention to the lesser known.
Yeah, yeah, like you said, it's so accepted as medicine, but we don't always, or sorry, so accepted as food, but we don't always know it
Yeah,
as medicine. And yeah, so wherever you'd like to dive in with peach, I'm excited to hear you have to share.
sure. So Peach, being part of the rose family has that classic just cooling and astringent nature to it. And I always associate the Rosaceae family. I feel like, it gets so much attention within the nervous system, but I always associate Rosaceae with the gut. And so much misplaced fire ends up in the gut with heat
Mm,
patterns. And to me, peach leaf is the classic herb for like the hot, red tongue pattern. I did a lot of tongue diagnosis training as part of my early herbal education, and I have the, do you mind if I show my tongue on your
Oh,
podcast? I don't know.
please.
Okay.
It's going to be
I
exciting.
have the
First
very
time ever,
classic,
folks.
yes, I have the very classic peach leaf tongue, which is red and pointy. So
Oh, yeah.
I have a very red, pointy tongue. So when you see it might be a little tinged with, I'm drinking one of my favorite herbal hot chocolates right now. So it might be a little
Oh,
brown. I
lovely.
apologize for that. Um, but anytime I see that like red pointy tongue, I always think heat pattern in the gut, and I want to bring some cooling and astringent nature to that heat pattern. And peach and rose and meadowsweet, all these amazing Rosaceae family plants have that ability just to cool and soften and gently tone the gut and focus on those, those important tight cell junctions that often get compromised when we have excessive heat patterns in the gut. And then I see that translating so well to the pregnancy pattern where I use it, which is nausea during pregnancy. So I think of nausea as, just misplaced heat. It's coming up when that heat should be staying in our digestive fire should be staying put. And peach just really helps to tamper that rising flame in the gut associated with nausea. Um, Especially when ginger either doesn't work, which for some people it doesn't. Ginger did nothing for me. In my first pregnancy, I had horrible nausea, and ginger did nothing. But peach, just even holding the tincture in my mouth for a moment before I swallowed it, really helped to mm, allow me to eat during my first trimester, which was so important. Obviously, for growing a child, the mother needs to eat, and I could not eat well
Wow.
because food just it made me like feel like I couldn't handle it. And peach helped me get rid of that feeling of like everything coming back up. Um, so it's so specific for that, that reflux, that nausea, either in or out of pregnancy, and just excessively hot, pitta or mesomorphic digestive patterns.
Hmm. Yeah, that's so key. And can you imagine just how many people out there don't recognize peach leaf for this nausea during pregnancy? That's
Yeah.
like one of those ones
Yep.
you wish you could like scream from the rooftops. Like if you're just like, and just
Yes.
even the like, if you know about ginger and you know about peach leaf, one or the two are going to really help you. And how many
Yeah.
people suffer through that period.
Yep. And I mean, the two even go together so beautifully in
Mm,
formulation for working with nausea. And I always love including some kind of like cooling and soothing demulcent in there too, because peach can
mhm,
be a little bit drying, like a lot of the Rosaceae family plants, which is great because we want to work on those, tight cell junctions. Because whenever there's inflammation in the gut, it can impact the epithelial junctions that we need to maintain the integrity of the gut. But it can also be a little drying. So I always love combining, a chickweed or a marshmallow, something that's going to give that mucilaginous like goo to the lining of
mm,
the gut. So the peach leaf marshmallow ginger combination is so nice for cooling and soothing the nausea. It's like that's my
mm.
powerhouse combination.
Oh, that's lovely. Yeah, I love the nuance
Yeah.
there. All the energetics. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So nausea during pregnancy, really any kind of nausea though, but just typically
Yeah.
that's where you have worked with it a lot with benefits.
Yeah, I had food poisoning. When was that? Back in the summer, and it really helped with my food poisoning nausea as well.
Mm. Yeah, sorry about that, but thanks for
Yeah.
doing the test on that one.
Yep.
Reporting back. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So we've talked about for digestive heat. Thank you for the tongue illustrations. Very appreciated.
Yeah.
For nausea. Where else would you like to go with peach?
Well, nervous system, like
Mm,
many of the rose family plants, it's just such a calming and peaceful nervine. So,
mm,
especially when we see a heat pattern in the gut outside of an actual pathology like an IBD or an IBS, if it's someone who just runs energetically hot, they're, choleric or pitta or mesomorphic, we often see that heat present in the nervous system as well. And we might be more prone to anxiety or anger or just excessive energy within the nervous system. It's one of those herbs that I feel like is just so gently like shh. Take a deep breath. So, when we
Mm-hmm.
first started this and we were closing our eyes for a minute and breathing, like I was visualizing myself under my favorite peach tree. And it has that effect on the nervous system, just like the cooling, quieting, and almost like dissipating effect on trapped anxiety or trapped heat. It's just so diffusive and
Mm-hmm.
spreading that heat out so it can release. Almost like if you cook with an instant pot and you like release the valve and the steam just kind of comes out, that's kind of how I feel like peach leaf
Ooh.
and blue vervain. I use that combination together a lot. They kind of help release that valve on anger and anxiety when it's trapped in the nervous system.
Ooh,
So that's
I
another
love
area where I love
that.
it.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
really interesting duo there. Great analogy too with Instant Pot. Love it.
Thank you. I'm
Yeah.
very afraid of my instant pot. I like releasing that valve terrifies me. So I have to do it with a wooden spoon so I can stay a little bit away from it. But it just has that like release of pressure. So
So
it's
that's
a
kind
fun
of
little
hilarious
metaphor.
because I refuse to use the Instant Pot. And so I just call in the husband every time it needs to be used, which is like every night these days. And I'm doing
Nice.
like an overnight decoction. And yeah, so it's like we have our little like
Ooh,
our little teams, like I put the herbs together in the water and then he comes and does the thing. Cause yeah, it's just, I know it's safe, but there's something about it
it's
that's,
terrifying.
yeah.
Terrifying but safe.
Yeah. Yeah. But peach
Um,
leaf and blue vervain, that's really a lovely combination that I've
yeah.
never considered before.
Oh, it's so nice. Just and I take that with me whenever I'm going into situations that I feel like either uncomfortable or that make me nervous. So like I hate flying. Fun little
Mm.
fact about me, like planes make me very nervous. So I take, blue vervain and peach leaf skullcap and rose is my
Mhm.
my flying blend to help me
Mhm.
kind of calm down and not feel as fearful.
Mhm.
Um, but any situation that really it causes that kind of like buildup of anxiety or anger or fear in the nervous system is a great combination, that blue vervain, and it just again it just that release valve.
Yeah, yeah, that's lovely.
Yeah.
Betsy, now I want to go back to digestion because I just
Okay.
something just popped into my head
Sure.
that I've really been enjoying your bitters, and I
Yay.
bought a bunch of them in Michigan when I saw you, and they were just oh my gosh, they just taste so good, bitter and good. So there's your hibiscus bitters, which are amazing.
Thank
That
you.
orange one that was created in the special way. The
Yep.
cacao ones are amazing. Unfortunately, also my husband likes them a lot, so I've had to share. But yeah, they've just been so much fun. And I'm curious now, do you have a peach leaf bitter? Do you
I
use that
don't
bitter?
have a peach leaf bitter, but I really want to, especially for my pregnancy clients, because you know digestion can be so challenging during pregnancy because literally, like all your organs are getting squished up by the baby,
Mhm.
and it can
Yeah.
be, you get full easier, and then you get that, like bilious reflux, and it's just
Mhm.
bitters can be so helpful, but many of them are contraindicated during pregnancy, like gentian, classic bitter. We don't want to do it during pregnancy. So I've been playing around with peach leaf, dandelion root, and orange peel bitter
Mm.
that I'm going to bring to whichever conference I go to next. So I haven't been selling one up to this point, but I've been playing around with different flavors and combinations, and using them with certain clients that are really excited about experimenting. So
Cool. Well, call
yeah,
me. Let
I
me
will.
know
I'll
where
just
that
send you some,
conference
and
is and
I'll just send you some, and you
okay.
can give me your feedback.
Okay. I guess I will do that. I will force myself to do that for you, for the benefit of you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. All right. So thanks for that digression. But yeah, I mean, your bitter formulas are just incredible. So yeah, it's
Thank you.
exciting.
I have so much fun with flavor. I am a big believer in, medicine should be an enjoyable experience. Like we
Mm,
should like taking the herbs that we're taking. There are
hmm
some that are going to be challenging with taste, and that's
hmm
okay. But when we can make medicine magical and delicious and we look forward to taking it every day, I think that adds so much value to the therapeutic effect of taking them. Just like
Yeah.
sitting with a cup of tea, that really, that the ritual of making tea, watching the herbs steep, and holding, the hot mug in your hand adds so much nervine activity to a calming blend. I think that, taste can add medicine as much as the herbs themselves.
Mm, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And you do a good job with that. Well, what
Thank
you
you.
have shared with us is a peach leaf elixir, and I'm wondering if you will
Yes,
walk us through that.
sure, absolutely. I love making peach leaf as an elixir again because taste. I think that the either honey or you can use sugar just kind of is reminiscent of the sweetness we expect when we bite into a peach. And you can even
Mm,
use fresh peaches. I didn't include that in the recipe, but it's just a little fun addition. You can, if you're making this in the summer when the peaches are fresh, you can take some fruit and chop it up and add it in there with the peach leaf and the honey and the sugar. And it just, oh my God, it almost like caramelizes the recipe in a way. It's
wow.
so good. But the key is using either extremely fresh peach leaves, like literally off the tree and into the alcohol, or using fully dried peach leaves, because wilted peach leaves are going to have a higher concentration of those cyanogenic glycosides. So we don't want to use wilted peach leaves. So either completely fresh or fully dried. And then this is one of the medicines that I just make folk style. I think there's absolute value in I don't like to say necessarily like scientific method where we do a 1 to 5 or a 1 to 10, because all all medicine making is magic and all medicine
Mm,
making is science, whether or not we're measuring. But there are times where we do want to know we're getting a specific dose of a particular herb or constituent to have a, if possible, predictable therapeutic outcome.
mm,
But with medicine like this that I'm using for just, nausea or digestive support or nervous system, relaxation, I don't necessarily need to be as precise.
mm,
So I will make it folk method where I'll take either my fresh or my dried peach leaves, fill up my glass jar, add the alcohol. If I'm doing fully fresh peach leaves, I like to do anywhere from 85 to 90% alcohol over that to account for the water content of the fresh leaves. If I'm doing dried peach leaves, I'll do, a 40% alcohol by volume vodka, or it tastes really, if you're going to do the peach fruit in there, do brandy because it tastes
mm,
so good in the brandy. Um, and then make sure all the leaves are completely covered. And then you can either add the honey or the sugar while the peach leaves are macerating or after you strain it. Totally
mm,
personal preference. Sometimes, like if you're straining through cheesecloth or muslin cloth and you're squeezing it out, it can get a little sticky all over your
mm.
hands if you've added the sugar or the honey in while it's macerating. So you can totally wait until after it's done macerating and then add the sweetener. And I usually do anywhere from 5 to 10% by volume, honey or sugar for that nice little touch of sweet to kind of bring out the peachness of the leaves.
Yeah, it also makes a nice mouthfeel too. Like it adds a sweetness and it also just takes away some of the harshness of the alcohol as
Yes,
well. So I like that.
exactly. Yeah, the alcohol can be super biting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With I'm wondering, like, just trying to think about people who are, they're interested, maybe they don't know how to get peach leaves and when to harvest them. Do you have any tips on either of those?
Yeah, so if you can find like a local orchard. So I'm lucky my son goes to a farm preschool here in Virginia and they have peach
Mm,
leaves, so I can
no
just
fun.
go harvest some of their peach leaves and that's where I get mine. But if you have a local orchard that grows peaches, ideally ones that are not, spraying their trees with heavy pesticides, that's always a concern with peaches because they tend to be very susceptible to pests, but ideally finding an orchard that's not doing heavy spraying and just reaching out and saying, hey, in the spring when the peach leaves are starting to come out, can I harvest some leaves from your tree? And most orchards were like, okay. They don't really understand why, but they're not super opposed to it. That's one way to do it. And then there are some growers that will carry peach leaf. I haven't found a good one recently. Years ago I had a connection with a farm that they would, send me dried peach leaf, and they've since gone out of business, that
Mhm,
orchard. But there's a great, great, great herb company in Texas, Texas Medicinals. It used to be owned by Ginger Webb, and she recently sold it. But they have such amazing peach products. So if you're not able to make your own peach leaf elixir, Texas Medicinals is where I highly recommend getting. They've got a peach leaf elixir, or just regular peach leaf tincture. I think they even have some dried tea blends with peach leaf in it, if I remember correctly. But I love, love, love Texas Medicinal's peach products.
Yeah, likewise, actually, I had forgotten that they have such great ones, but I have tried theirs and they're
Yeah.
fabulous. Yeah, so I'll second that recommendation. Yeah. And yeah, so for people who want to try this out, you can get your beautifully illustrated recipe card at herbswithrosaliePodcast.com or just check out the show notes. And one of my favorite things is hearing back when people make these. So when you
Yes.
make your peach leaf elixir, then let us know how it goes on the medicine making side, on just how you feel, all of that. Hey, it's Rosalee. Creating this podcast has been one of the most rewarding parts of my herbal work. And if you've found something meaningful here, whether it's a new perspective, a favorite recipe, or just a sense of calm, I want to let you know there's a good way to go even deeper. It's called the Podcast Circle. Inside, you'll get access to live classes taught by some of my favorite herbal teachers, behind the scenes updates, and a beautiful library of herbal resources that we've gathered over the years. But more than that, it's a space to connect with fellow plant lovers who care about the same things you do. And truly, your membership helps make this podcast possible. It's how we keep the episodes coming and the herbal goodness flowing. So if you're ready to be part of something more, something rooted in connection, head over to herbalpodcastcircle.com. I'd love to see you there. Oh, before we go on, just in terms of harvesting, Betsy, do you have
Sure.
thoughts on preferences of like harvesting leaves in the spring or the summer, or do you see a big
Yeah.
difference in that?
I typically harvest leaves in like the spring and the early summer before the fruits are fully formed
Mm,
because when the fruits are coming out, that's when the tree is devoting more of its energy into fruit production. When the leaves are starting to come out, that's when more of the energy is in the leaf. Kind of like
mm,
when we think about roots, most roots we're going to harvest in the fall when that energy is going back down into the root for the winter. So whenever I'm harvesting any plant, I try to think about when is the plant devoting most of its energy to that particular part? And that's when I harvest.
nice. Yeah. Thank you for that and also for this wonderful recipe. I
Yes,
am lucky to
absolutely.
have a peach tree. And I've never made a peach leaf elixir before. I've worked with the pits, but not the leaves specifically. So I'm excited to try that once those leaves are coming out in the new year.
Yeah, and you can add pits, you can add twigs, you can add fruit. Like all parts
Mm.
of the tree are so beneficial.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. Wonderful. Well, is that was kind of a nice little foray into the medicine making aspect. Are there any other aspects of peach you want to talk about before we move on?
Hmm. Oh, I do like using the dried leaves in a salve. It's great for anything like hot,
Mm.
red, and itchy on the skin. It combines so well with, chickweed and plantain, a lot of the herbs that we classically think about for hot, red, and itchy presentations. Peach leaf
Mm.
adds such a nice touch to that.
Oh, that's nice. And that's
Yeah.
one of my favorite duos is plantain and peach. Those go together so well for, yeah,
Yes.
those hot red itchy things. So yeah, that's lovely.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for bringing the peach leaf to us, Betsy. And yeah, I love
Absolutely.
your formulation notes too. It's just yeah, those indications as well as just the formulations as well. So that's going to be very
Thank
helpful
you.
for folks. And I'm excited to try the peach leaf and the blue vervain together.
Yes, I will send you some.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks. Feel like I'm just getting all the privilege here. I'll take it. Um, well, I would love to hear what you have going on in your herbal world and offerings that you have, etc., and where people can find
Sure.
more from you.
Sure. Yeah, I feel like I'm reemerging after, like I said, a 7 year hiatus of focusing on my kids. They're getting so big now. They're 7 and almost 5, and
Mm,
I'm finally starting to come back into the herb world after just taking some time to focus on them. So it's kind of it's like finding myself again, which is it's been such a great feeling. I
mm,
think it's pretty easy to lose yourself in motherhood, which is can be good, and it also is hard. And this is allowing me to kind of find myself again. My identity outside of mommy is coming back into the plant world.
mm, mm,
So I'm really excited to be getting back into the conference circuit. I taught at the Great Lakes Herb Fair this past year and a couple of online like little conferences. So I'm really excited to be both just attending and teaching at a few in the coming year. And that's you know, I did a lot of formal education with plants. I went to Thai Sophia. I did a lot of formal education, but the herb conferences, I feel like are really what opened my eyes to the magic of the herb world. Hearing from
Mm,
so many different voices and perspectives outside of like the almost sterile clinical
mm,
education that I got.
mm, mhm.
So I can't express enough how much I love and encourage everyone to attend conferences whenever possible. So
Oh, I
that's
love that.
probably the
Yes.
thing. Yeah, that's probably what I'm most excited about is getting back into the conference circuit. Um,
Do you have any that
Another
you're
thing,
especially eyeing next year? Sorry to interrupt, but
yes. Oh no,
curious.
please interrupt. Great Lakes Herb Fair.
You're
That
gonna
one's
go
so
back?
much fun. Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, always.
it's my
I'm.
favorite.
That's going to
Yeah,
be like my regular, calendar event every year. I get to see
nice.
Jim McDonald. Hopefully, so
I'm
many
gonna
of
be
my
there.
friends go to that conference. So that's like my permanent placeholder, whether or not I'm teaching or just attending, is Great Lakes Herb Fair. I really want to get back to the Good Medicine Confluence.
Mm,
I never get out to the Southwest. That place is just so, I have Appalachia here where I am, which is just ancient and magical. And then the Southwest is just so powerful in a different way. And I really love making yearly pilgrimages to the Southwest whenever possible. So Good Medicine Confluence is another one that I'm really hoping to get to. And then I've never been to the Midwest Women's Herb Conference, but I'd
mm.
really like to attend that one at some
Oh,
point.
fun. Yeah, those are all
Yeah.
lovely. Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah. Um, and then what else have I got going on?
I hear
So
you might be writing a
I
book, is what I hear.
Yeah,
That's word on the
yes,
street.
that's a word on the street. I've been working for, a while now on a manuscript for a pediatric herbalism book. Just because I feel like we don't have as many resources for pediatric herbalism in a
Mm,
clinical setting.
mm.
So I've been working on that for the last couple of years.
Wow.
Both my children, my youngest has some pretty significant health challenges that I've learned a lot working with him, and even just tricks on, getting herbs into kids can be
Mm,
challenging.
mhm.
So I've learned a lot of hands-on, experience with him. So I've been really diving into that. I have no idea when it's going to be ready because, between the doctorate and the teaching that I do and
Right.
everything, I'm pretty busy,
Yeah,
but it's just been a fun side project that I've been working on. So yeah,
yeah,
I will absolutely keep you posted on when I could possibly have a date for that.
yeah.
Um, yeah.
Well, that's very exciting, and yeah, to put your heart into that for so many years is also impressive. And like you said, as you're a mommy and teacher and this doctorate, will you have?
Yes.
Is it anticipated that you'll finish the doctorate by Great Lakes next year?
Uh, no. So my graduation date would be spring of 2027.
Okay. All
Yep.
right. I was gonna say we should like have a big celebration, but maybe we should just have a big celebration
We just
anyway.
have a big celebration
Yeah.
anyway.
You could bring the sourdough bread. I'll be
Oh yes,
set.
we'll have just a big sourdough party.
Sweet. Um, I should tell. So maybe I'll just tell folks. So I show up at Great Lakes Herb Fair, and it's like within like 30 seconds of being there, I get to see you, and you handed me a loaf of sourdough bread, and I just looked at you and I was like, "This is my love language." Like I just couldn't believe it. So yeah, it would be very memorable.
Baking is absolutely my love language. I just
Yeah.
I just have so much joy in the kitchen. So I appreciate that we have the same love language.
Yeah. Yeah. Mine's on the receiving end, not necessarily the doing end, but it works out really well. There's no competition. Like I'm not going to be trying to like get in on the stove while you're trying to get on the stove. You know what I mean? It works out well. So Betsy, for folks who want to hear more from you, hear more about what you have going on, how can they best find you?
Great question. So I have a website. It's plantwisdomwellness.com. I am kind of on social media, and when I say kind of, I'm just horrible at the like self-marketing piece of social media. So I have a Facebook, which is Earthside Botanica, and that's
Mm.
also my Instagram is Earthside Botanica, and I post a lot about kids and plants and recipes and things like that. So those are the best ways to find me.
Awesome. I always enjoy your social posts. So glad that you're there,
Thank
even if
you.
it's a minimal, we can call it a sane amount. So yeah.
Yes, sane amount.
Yeah.
I like that.
Well, Betsy, before you go, I have one last question for you.
Yeah,
And that is, how do herbs instill hope in you?
I love this question.
Mhm.
Um, I feel we live in a very challenging time right now. There's a lot of discord and upheaval, and it's a really hard time to be an empathetic human walking through life. And the herbs always give me somewhere to turn for peace and for
Mm,
comfort. And that reminder that there will always be plants is just when when life feels too overwhelming for whatever reason, I can go out to my garden and sit with my
mm,
tulsi or sit with my skullcap. Even now, sit under my hawthorn tree and even with the leaves bare, know that they're going to come back, that the
mm,
plants are coming back every spring, that the medicine is there when I need it, is just, it gives me more comfort and grounding and consistency than really anything else. So the hope that plants give me um, is really just that, they they understand without judgment. They understand without expectation. And as long as I show them the same respect in my
mm.
garden, in my life, that they will be there for me.
So beautiful. I really resonate with that. Some other words that came up for me was like comfort and trust because I just like feel all of
Yes.
that. Yeah, just
Yes.
yeah. I often wonder,
100%.
Betsy, like what do people do without plants? Like I get so much,
I
like
don't
just
know.
soothing and comfort and all of that. Like
Right.
everything that you said, it's like I can't imagine not
I can't
having that.
imagine a life without plants. I
Yeah.
mean, whether or not it's like actually taking them into my body or putzing around with my house plants
Hmm.
or, looking at seed catalogs for my garden. Like I just like every aspect of plants just instills joy. And I
Hmm.
can't imagine a life without that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, gosh, thank you so much. Thanks for being here. Thanks for your time. Thanks for
Yeah.
sharing the love of the peach leaf. And yeah, it's just been lovely to hang out with you a bit and talk about, the joys of the rose family as well. So thank you.
Thank you. I'm so glad that we were able to do this. I love any
Yeah.
opportunity just to, talk with a wonderful person who also loves plants.
Ah, absolute pleasure. Thank you. Thanks so much for listening. You can download your illustrated recipe card from today's episode. Just head over to herbswithrosaleepodcast.com or check out the show notes for a link. If you're not already subscribed, I'd love to have you as part of this herbal community so I can deliver even more herbal goodies your way. This podcast is made possible in part by our awesome students. This week's student spotlight is on Linda Weiss in Germany. Linda is a student in the Herbal Energetics course who brings a deep love of plants into her everyday life. As a mother to her young daughter, Tilia, she's been finding meaningful ways to weave herbalism into her daily rhythms. She explored dandelion as her bitter ally, discovering its wide range of effects and flavors, and formed a heartfelt connection with linden in the sweet module, a plant that also shares its name with her daughter. Her experience of linden as a source of calm, comfort, and nourishment beautifully reflects how herbalism can support us in simple, everyday ways. And if you'd like to deepen your skills as an herbalist, you can check out my foundational courses at herbswithrosalee.com. Okay, you've made it to the very end of the show, which means you get a gold star and this herbal tidbit. Peach leaves aren't the only medicine on this tree. Peach pits are also loved, especially for their strong, focused medicine. If you'd like to continue your dive into peach medicine, then be sure to check out my interview with Robin Rose Bennett, all about peaches. Robin beautifully describes peach in this way. Peach is cooling, it's moistening, there's that juiciness of it. It's a pretty profound herb to help with hot irritation in the mind, heart, and body. It's a wonderful reminder that sometimes one single tree holds many layers of medicine. As always, thank you so much for joining me in this episode. I'll see you in the next one.